Hello everyone, my name is Folashade and this is
Blessing
and together we welcome you to Lighthouse. My name is Folashade. I work as a product manager and I also host outreaches for young wives and mothers and also children from dysfunctional homes. This was born out of a personal experience as I had to grow without both parents, and this has marked my life and almost affected my mindset in terms of how I view the world and how I felt unloved for a very long time. As we go through this journey on Lighthouse Podcast, I would love to share my journey with God with you, and I hope that is going to help you as you go through your own healing journey.
My name is Blessing and I'm a sustainability expert. I am also very passionate about supporting those who have experienced grief or are currently dealing with grief. Experiencing significant personal loss can affect your sense of self and can be very devastating. I hope that in sharing my experience with dealing with grief, the experiences of others that I have supported through their journey, that you would also find support for your own journey. So Shade, we decided to start this Lighthouse podcast, but it would be great that our viewers or people that will listen later know, why did we start this? How did we meet? Are we even friends or just two random ladies? And let them find what's the purpose, what should they expect, how did this journey start?
Okay, so I'm going to start by telling everyone how Blessing and I met. Actually, Blessing and I met at work in the banking industry at the time. And when I met Blessing, I liked her work ethic because we had to work in the same team. I mean, I felt she was different because every other person had a particular attitude to work and hers was different. We connected on a different level. So I knew, there was something special about this person. And there was something in particular. She was always about, like, when we discuss in the morning and she's talking about her devotion and everything. She was always going on about, and then the Lord said to me, and I'm like, now only you, the Lord, they say to. I just was able to understand that she had a relationship with God. And I think that was one of the things that made us connect in the beginning. So tell me, how did you feel about me when you met?
My very, very first perception of Shadidi, I can remember what she was wearing. She was wearing a blue dress with a white collar.
You say that all the time.
I was just like, such a nice dress. Over time, as we began to work together, I saw that Shadi had my kind of work ethic. I wanted to know her more. I wanted, like, please, she makes my life easier. Let me find out more. And as we began to move away from work conversations to life conversations, faith conversations, we began to know the core of who we were. And today we are still friends. That's how the journey began, really.
Yeah. And then I think one important point that I think led to Lighthouse Podcast was the fact that I think the first time Blessing and I got into like a deep conversation about our lives, I felt like, I had gone through a lot. I grew up with my grandma. I was not with my parents. There was a lot of instability that I had to cope with in my childhood. I felt like, yes, even though I was a believer and I was growing in my journey with God, I didn't want to have anything to do with my parents. I didn't want to relate with them on so many levels. And that was because I felt my situation was so bad. Like, as a parent, even if you people had like your differences, couldn't you have like done something about it? I used to feel that way because I look at other children and how they were raised and the kind of stability. And I always wonder, is there something wrong with me? Like, is it me? Until I now met Blessing and Blessing shared her story with me. And I was like, okay. And then that was when it hit me. Like, Blessing lost both parents. I think it was within a year or
within 2 years.
Wow. And when I heard it, I don't know how I felt that day, but I was moved to tears because, like, okay, at least my own parents, we can still find a common ground. And at least now we are cordial on so many levels and we are trying to, actually build a relationship. And I still saw how, she was so passionate about a relationship with God and was trying to grow on so many levels. So I felt, what am I talking about? Like, I felt bad because I'm like, I must be an ungrateful person to think that, because even though my parents were not with me growing up, I still had my uncles, aunties, my grandma, those rallying around me. I think that was the point where I started to have a paradigm shift and my mindset started to change on so many levels. And I started to look at what I had, I think before I was thinking about what I didn't have. Oh, my parents, they did this, they did that. But I started to look at what I have. I had love, people that loved me. I had good friends, and yeah, I had Blessing to work with. Blessing made my work. If you've worked in a bank before, right, you know how it is, especially when you're working in customer service, so many things. If you are working with somebody who is not detailed or someone who is tacky, it's bad enough that customers will bring their own, but your life will be difficult. But now having her again, so I felt that, God has been good to me. That why was I not really able to identify the things that I had going for me? I think that was the turning point for me. What was it for you?
So I'm happy that my story started a paradigm shift, and I hope it does for those that will listen and those that are watching right now, really. For me, I think that going through my story, which I will share over the course of the episode, so watch out. What it did for me was to anchor my identity in Christ. And that's basically is why you met the blessing you met. And I'm the blessing I am today. And Shade, you coming into my life has been a journey.
I know.
And and it's been so good. You will just have to watch. We have stories for these. But God has been faithful all through, and He has put people in our lives at different points in time with different stories and experiences that has really helped us through this journey. And that's why we decided to do Lighthouse. It shouldn't remain with both of us or those in our circle that we know that we've seen. We want to bring you into that life, into that story, into that experience, so that you find your journey easier. You begin your healing and you're able to help others too. We don't have to work with broken bodies and wounded souls when there's a solution, when there's healing, when there's succor. And we hope that sharing our journey with the Lord and our experience would help you as you go through this. And that's how I decided one day, and I was just talking with Shadi, our random gist, and I was like, I want to support people more. I want it on a larger scale. How can we help more? And Shadi was already into our outreach, helping youths, women, teenagers in dysfunctional homes. And we decided that we can do this together, serve as support, as we've supported ourselves all through life. We'll support ourselves in this new season, this journey. And we hope you follow us throughout the journey and that you also help someone who's beginning theirs.
It's a good thing that you started on the issue of identity, because that's the conversation that we're actually starting with on Lighthouse Podcast. Identity is something that I find out that, the family, your background, how you grew up, and your environment is actually what has formed some people's identity till date. And if you look at our world today, you find a lot of broken people, some believers, just because they have not been able to heal from their trauma. They've not been able to rid themselves of those mindsets that they grew with. They're still sort of, for lack of a better word to use, stalled, in that place in their journey. So I think you all should watch out, because on our next episode, we're going to be talking about identity.
See ya.
Bye.